Welcome to Wednesday's thought. Before we actually start looking at the thought, on Wednesday nights there's a group of us that meets. We're just finishing off the book of Daniel, and next Wednesday we're going to be starting 1 Corinthians. It's through a book. If you're interested in joining in the Bible study, we finish off with prayer. If you want to contact Richard, he'll give you the Zoom details and let you know some other sort of information about what happens and when and everything else. So yeah, that's tonight and the following Wednesdays as well. End of Daniel tonight and 1 Corinthians starting next week. The unknown can be scary, can be frightening. And this is a lovely passage in the end of chapter 2 of Joshua, going into chapter 3. And the two spies have returned from the other side of Jordan, especially Jericho. And they come back to Joshua. They come back across the river and they come back to Joshua and they say, look, the people are afraid of us. We can take the land. And this is one of the things about with God. We're always moving on into new things with the Lord, deepening our relationship with Him, discovering new things about Him, finding ourselves in new situations. But the Lord's always moving us on. And so the spies say to Joshua, we can take the land, they're afraid, let's go and take it. So Joshua gives everybody the instructions. And he says, all right, okay, get in the line. And in front of you is going to be the priests, the Levites. They're going to be carrying the ark that represented God's presence. And it's interesting, actually, that in chapter 3 and chapter 4, the ark is mentioned some 16 times. What's the significance of the ark? Well, it's about God's presence. And what's going to happen is that the Levites and the priests are going to carry the ark in front of the people. And the people are to stay back so they get a good view of the ark. And what is going to happen is that Joshua and the priests and the ark, they will cross the River Jordan, which incidentally is in full flood because it's that season. It's in full flood. So again, that's going to be a new thing for them. But what is interesting is Joshua says to the people, he says, follow the ark, because the way that you are travelling, this path that you are travelling, you have never travelled it before. So we're travelling this journey, says Joshua, keep your eyes focused on the ark, because it's a path that you've never been on before. Well, for all of us, we've never been on this path before. We've not ever experienced lockdown, virus like we have. We are on a journey through this time. It's a path that we've never ever trodden before. And what's the advice to us? The advice is have your eyes fixed on God. That's what they had to do. They had to fix their eyes on God. They were going to cross that river. They were going to enter into a land that God had promised them, God taking them on to the next stage. But they were just going to be entering into that land and didn't know what would be facing them. But they had to just simply have their focus set on God as He were leading them on through a journey they'd never travelled to something new. God's always fulfills His promises. He promised them the land, the promised land. It was their inheritance. God had promised that to them, and God always fulfills His promises. He wasn't going to leave them partway on this journey, but He was going to lead them through the unknown into His promises. What's true for God's people is true for us today. God is leading us through a time of unknown in order that He might fulfill His promises that He has for each and every one of us. So what do? We fix our eyes on God. We experience His presence. We put our trust in Him. We've not travelled this way before. Let's keep focused on the God that's called us, the God that's leading us, and there's a God that will fulfill His promises, all that He has for us. Have a blessed day. God bless.